Ah, what the fuck is that?
That, ladies and gentlemen,
this is where Sega got the inspiration for their new logo.
that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Virgin Interactive logo for the mid to late 90s. Quite the interesting logo you've got there, Virgin.
Now this is more like it.
Oh yeah, Disney Interactive.
Also, this weird countdown thing.
So yeah, Eurocom, the guys who made the Jungle Book game, as well as Spot Goes to Hollywood,
Crash Bash.
they've been working.
Crash Bash, as the narrator calls it.
This was back when Eurocom was one of the go-to developers for Virgin Interactive, and they got the honor of working on the Disney's Hercules video game. The Disney's Hercules video game is a very The Disney's Hercules video game is a very special video game. Why? Because it's the end of an era. This was the last Disney tie-in video game to use Disney animators to animate on paper, and that animation to be used as the blueprint for the sprites themselves. So there you go. This is the last one to go.
Now the name of the game in Europe is interesting. It's called Disney's Action Game featuring Hercules.
Humor.
I wonder if they actually planned to, have it more on this kind of SteamWorld title and make it as a brand, but it still feels odd. But also, fun fact, this is actually one of the very first games that I played in my life, at least on my own, because the PlayStation that my parents got for me and my sister had like 1 or 2 games. This was one of the ones. The other was Barbie Race and Ride, but that's a story for another time.
Oh my god.
Alright, so here you go, clips from the movie.
Okay, I actually don't know this, but for my country, since the VHS or whatever it was at the time was not ready, they actually had to use different voice actors for this sequence, and it's very jarring because the guy who was going out for actual adult Hercules actually sounds like he's acting, unlike Raul Boba for the actual movie. But other people sound just off.
Yeah, unlike the ones that Virgin made before the CD-based consoles that had cutscenes with text and everything, this one actually, they took full advantage of the CD medium to use clips from the actual movie, much like the Toy Story 2 game by Traveler's Tales did.
The Eurocom were also a British developer, so.
Mm-hmm.
Should Hercules fight?
Yeah, for 1997, the quality of these
The voices sound so strange.
Well, they do. I mean, isn't that the actual voices from the movie? I mean,
I'm not really.
We start with your basic D.I.D, damsel in distress, essentially the training montage.
Isn't the audio of the clip just from how it is in the movie itself, or?
Hades definitely sounds like James Woods. I don't know about the Fates.
They sound the same too. Like, trust me, I'm usually a stickler for audio stuff, and the cutscenes. Okay,
I think maybe they've had to lower the quality of the scene, but everything is.
Well, obviously, in order to squeeze the clips in, obviously they have to compress because this is CDs, not DVDs, right? But go ahead.
Also, yes, then the Vito in the background cheering you up. That's the best thing ever.
The best thing ever in this game is having. I'm not kidding. A training level where your coach is Danny DeVito. So that alone makes this game worth a purchase in my eyes.
So basically, the art style for this game is interesting. They have 2D sprites put onto a 3D background here and there.
Occasionally, there will be 1 or 2 3D models as well, but again, it will be noticeable when they show up.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty good merging.
Starting after this game, again, like I said, this is the end of an era. Starting after this, all Disney tie-in licensed games would be done entirely in 3D.
Okay, I think the Mulan game actually still had the 2D approach, just not in the fact that it was a completely different game because it was point and click, but it still was like 2D. But I don't know if it was done with this technique.
I don't think it was. Was it?
I'll need to check it again, to be honest.
Was this after that apparent weird policy that the guy running the PlayStation branch had?
Bernie Stoller, yeah. Well, actually, yeah, this was after it. Yes. Not to mention, Dwebs,
because there was the Mega Man X games that were on there and 8.
Yeah. That's because, fortunately, eventually Bernie Stoller.
You left for Sega.
Ugh. Let's just say, everybody, Bernie Stoller is one of the. Basically, it's that simple, guys. If you like video games, you most likely will not like Bernie Stoller. I'll just leave it at that because I don't want to go into a rant about him. Moving on.
Working on video games and not liking them, but again, also another.
I get that too. But trust me, Bernie has his own distinct brand of. Ugh.
Again, I'll take you on the also. Yeah, the 3D. These particular birds are actual 3D models, and they do look a bit uncanny in contrast to everything. And also, they're very annoying because they hit you. If they're like Medusa hands in Castlevania,
remember this was
very regular pattern.
Remember, this was back in the mid-90s, where just seeing things in 3D was an incredible novelty. So,
I'll admit, at least with this game, it does feel like, well, like the movie itself, it does do a good job of making use of the 3D stuff, you know, kind of like how they use 3D specifically for the Hydra in the movie, you know, to show the uncanniness of it.
Yeah.
Also, they incorporated some of the elements of the movie were like, throwaway things into useful stuff. Like, for example, the Hercules action figure extends your L bar, while the Herculade energy drink actually, refuels you. It's actually your health regainer. That is pretty cool.
It's a reference to the movie itself. This is level 1, your basic D.I.D, damsel in distress. Again, most of the level names are direct references to lines from the movie. Hercules is, once again, a side-scrolling platformer. And you're just going for levels, doing various levels depending on it. So again, it's very, very much made in the same vein as the Aladdin and Lion King video games. It's pretty much, like I said, the last of that legendary lineup of Golden Age of Disney games. And in this case, most of the time you just have to get to the end of the level. Yeah, really. There's not really usually there's not really any kind of difficult obstacles in particular or objectives. So in this particular
combat, especially in later stages, also that
this particular level, of course, is representative of that training montage in between teenage Hercules and full-blown adult Hercules, basically.
Actually, that's a good segue. Who was the composer for this game?
Steve Duckworth.
What else did he do?
Wait, Steve
Crash
Duckworth.
Bash.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's the composer of Crash Bash.
Well, there you go then.
Makes sense to being at Eurocom and all.
His
Hercules also
main theme from that game is fantastic.
His most recent game.
Yes, it is.
His most recent game was working on the sound department for 007 Legends, which was Eurocom's last game.
Fun fact, when it comes to the combat, Hercules not only can use the sword with triangle, but also has a punch attack with circle.
Oh, speak of the devil. See, notice that you can use a sword to these things. And you cannot even punch. And even just doing the center punch doesn't work. So what do?
Charge triangle.
We charge triangle for the punch, and boom, there you go. And you get to destroy things in 3D. They even fly at you. So there you go, Tail. The ultimate evolution.
This is the best 2D Superman game.
There you go, Tail. The ultimate evolution of what started with the 3D dungeon balls from Aladdin. So.
Oh shit.
There you go. By the hey, Dwebs. Rule number 95. Yeah. Concentrate. So.
Rule number 36, aim!
Yes. Yeah, all of Danny DeVito's lines are taken straight from the movie. I don't... if I remember correctly...
There are some new lines sprinkled here and there.
It's like in the Toy Story 2 game, where a lot of the lines are just sound bites ripped from the movie.
Though, I know that there are actually some new lines, I don't know necessarily from Danny DeVito, but at least... from whoever actually plays Hercules in this game, because one of the levels actually has a couple of new voice clips into them. But let me check if IMDb actually reports if the actors came back for those. And keep in mind, considering Hercules was apparently voiced by Sean Austin in the first Kingdom Hearts, I'm expecting everything.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, didn't they get the actual actor from the movie for the second game?
Yes,
Yeah.
we did.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I don't know if
to be
it's the same
fair,
for Kingdom Hearts 3.
well, I think so. Yes, I actually remember. I think yeah, it sounds like in 2, if I remember correctly. But I don't know. Like, don't get me wrong. It's not the guy from the movie. But I don't know. I never found the guy who played Hercules in Kingdom Hearts 1 to be bad per se.
Again, Sean Austin, Samwise Gamgee from Lord of the Rings. That's the thing that baffles me. Like,
Yeah, I know. I thought
there's a casting
sure
choice.
it is, but I still think he is fine. He didn't even have that many. He had like what 3 lines in that game.
That too.
So
Also about the power-ups, switching between L1 and R1, you can have different type of elemental swords. The most common is the electric one, like this. Pretty cool, but it burns fast. There's a fire one, and then there it is.
Wow.
And then there's the wave one.
And yeah, that's pretty much Kingdom Hearts.
yeah, basically you can do various abilities by just switching them with the shoulder buttons. That being said, don't get too enthusiastic because most of the time they're not very useful. They're mostly just there to give you alternate ways to attack enemies because most of the enemies can just be easily killed with just a swing of the sword. So.
Well, I mean, you are playing as Hercules after all. Although it would make you wonder why he didn't think to learn elemental magic in the movie, considering how helpful it would seem if it were that useful in the game.
Yep, basically. Alright, so basically I'm carrying this rock so I can use it as a platform. There you go.
You can actually potentially throw it into the background, which will be required one of the later stages during the boss fight. So yeah, again, the game emphasis on 3D.
I will also say that these birds are annoying as all fuck. And yes, taking a cue from Donkey Kong Country of all games, we have this thing where you can collect the letters of our hero, specifically Hercules.
This will become an actual tradition for these interactive games. Tarzan has that. Atlantis actually has that. I don't remember if Monsters Inc. actually has that, but I don't remember. But a couple of games after this also will keep this tradition as well. And although your reward, if I recall correctly, is just viewing the FMV clip from the movie anyway. Weirdly enough, the other feature that you can get is by collecting 4 different jars, you get essentially a password system. Well, you don't really need it because you can also save the game manually if you want. So there's that. Although, again, being one of the early games for the PS1, it's still a bit backward, the way you save. It's not automatic as you think it is.
Well, actually, I don't know.
Well, as Crash 1 in that kind of sense, but...
remember, so this game came out in 1997, 2 years after the console was out. So by that point, well, the way it works there is that every time you finish, not to mention to remember, you have to earn both your passwords and your saves. Basically, the way it works is
that's what I mean.
The thing is, there's a thing too. At the end, you choose to either keep a password or just save. So you can always just save at the end of the level as long as you've gotten all the pots. So technically, I think it's perfect. If you have as long as you have a memory card, it's always preferable to use it over the passwords. Unless of course you're going to go to just a specific level, because...
Yeah.
Alright.
Also, it's a bit early to mention it, but you want to become potentially later. This is one of those games that actually, tells you to go back and try different difficulty if you actually finish it on, in easy mode.
Yes, this
so
game...
be careful.
Yeah, some levels in this game can have both. Can have a foreground, a background, and an even further background. So basically,
your cue is to use those marked, ways on the path to move up and down on the screen.
So basically, it's a kind of an attempt to pad out the level, probably because I never particularly cared much for these sections. Really, they're just kind of they feel like an excuse to pad out the level length. They didn't really do that much with this concept. Really, it's just now search for the way forward among all the 3 different.
Yes, go ahead, Pedro.
Yes.
You cut out for a second. Can you repeat?
What I was trying to say is that this feels like an excuse to pad out the level length because they don't really do that much with this concept.
Like I said, I disagree. I feel that it's actually an interesting concept and a way to pack more into the level.
And again, it's all about, them 3D, so might as well.
True that.
Move into also the third dimension in a way. And they also do hide, collectibles in there, so it's not like you're going there for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Alright, let's continue.
And yes, the music loops. Also, yes, you also have the crouching move, but I don't remember if it's particularly useful against some type of attacks.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's that attention to details, but it's pretty cute.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, moving on.
Alright, Waves, what do you think of, since we talked about also the composing, what do you think of the synth used for the music of this?
It's one of the better synths they use for trying to make it sound like an orchestra-ish music. I mean, in terms of Disney-made games around this time on the PlayStation, I much prefer the music from the Traveler's Tales guys.
And yes, your level complete
okay.
goal thing is a lightning bolt. A Zeus lightning bolt, yeah.
Yay.
And there you go.
Oh boy, my favorite movie, Hercules.
Also, no matter how much I played the game, I never managed to get up 100% coin collecting. It really is tricky to actually get all the coins in the level.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Congratulations, you have found a secret password, which means you can also save. So let's do that.
When did this game come out?
1997.
1997.
The same year as the movie.
Heroes Gauntlet, still part of a montage, specifically the final sequence where Hercules just basically curve stomps everything. Not so much this case, because this is one of the few, I think only 3, stages where Hercules just straight up running towards towards the horizon, and you have to steer it and you cannot stop.
Yeah.
And it's not easy.
It's
It's an endless one. It's pretty much, it's like it's around PS1 games. It's like this came out before Pepsi Man, so this is going to be Hercules Man.
So, this is a weird thing though, but for some reason there's no attack button during these sequences. Despite the fact that Herc's strong as all fudge and has a sword, but suddenly those factors suddenly disappear for these running levels.
Did Zeus turn his powers off using his switch?
Also, not even due to any control issue, but it looks like it's really difficult to tell when you're actually near an obstacle.
Yeah,
it unfortunately has the draw distance issue.
It's a common problem with when the developers try to do the 3D as a spectacle thing. It always tends to have these kinds of issues a lot of times.
Hey, Zeus can, or at the very least, his parents can switch his powers off like that in Hercules in New York. So maybe
that's not the same thing.
I'm surprised you didn't get hit by the Crusher back there.
That's the thing, Shira. Like I said, like you yourself said, it can be hard to tell where you are in relation to the objects.
You can use up and down on the D-pad in order to regulate the speed Hercules is doing, but you cannot stop him properly.
Yep, basically. This is kind of a reverse of the Mickey Mania running stages, because in Mickey Mania, you're running towards the camera. In here, you're running away from the camera.
So the camera actually has to, stay close to you, but it struggles, as you can see. Anyway, checking in the meantime on IMDb. No, it seems that the voice actors from the movie are the same, technically.
Okay.
So
they've always just used voiced clips.
Mm-hmm.
The compression on the audio makes it sound weird, maybe. I don't know.
If I recall correctly, there might be 1 or 2 lines in a later level that actually might be new. But again, I'll have to listen, because I can tell you straight for a fact that for my country's version, they were new, because they were not seen in the movie. So I wonder if it's chalk up to regional difference or not.
I mean, it sounded the audio, the clip sounded fine to me, but then again, I'm more used to watching this movie with the Portuguese dub, so that might be it.
Is the Portuguese dub on your Disney Plus?
Yes. Well, all of the Disney movies use the Portuguese dub when available.
It's because I mean, in some cases on our Disney Plus, they do have a lot of alternate languages. But sometimes they have sometimes they have multi-5, sometimes they don't.
It depends on the movie, Dwebs. It
also Pedro missed it for a second, but the helmet, if you get it, actually grants you invincibility for a limited time. So if you see it on screen, try to get it.
No,
but of course.
Because interesting about European releases, I'm going to gather, like the release, like the movie. I'm guessing this game wasn't very popular in Greece.
I don't know, to be honest.
It's interesting as well because
there's really
Hercules
no way of
was
knowing.
derided by Greeks, whereas 300 was really popular with them.
There we go.
Well, 300 was kind of more accurate to them, so it makes sense.
It's also similar to how my big fat Greek wedding, despite portraying them in a negative stereotype, actually was perceived positively by them.
Hey,
so it depends on that.
And now
on to the next level.
The Centaur's Forest against Nexus.
This is also the first boss battle, which, as you can probably guess, yes, we're gonna fight the Centaur that's trying to kidnap Meg. Well, supposedly, yeah.
Allegedly.
Debatably.
Okay, it's been a while. It's been a while since I've
Dubiously.
Basically, it was Hercules thinks that's what's happening, but in reality, Meg was trying to recruit
Nexus into Hades' army.
And then the Centaur goes full creep.
These weird bandits are here as well. Weird.
That's a thing.
There you go.
Well, they gotta have an obstacle somehow, I guess.
The thing is that there will be actual other Centaurs other than Nexus in this level. It's just that we also have these weird bandits that show up later also in Athens. So you think that, but again, like Shiro said, we're just here for an obstacle, I guess. Also, this is one of the first original pieces done for the game, because this is loosely based also on the intro, but it's mostly an original piece on its own.
So yeah, they also took advantage of it to expand into a football, and we're also fighting, I guess they're bandits? I mean...
Yeah, we had a fat one and a skinny one here. Are these like the ancestor of the two guys from Under One Dalmatians?
Oh yeah, this. Basically, every time you see a rocky floor that looks cracked or jagged or something like that, that's usually a sign that it can be broken with this move that I'm about to do.
Jump and press the down button.
And Urk will destroy the floor by breaking it with his feet.
I can't draw, but this is the best Superman game we ever got.
Best 2D one, anyway.
Which is interesting, Teo, because Alan Menken in the behind-the-scenes video, he did say that when he wrote the score for the movie, he did say he took inspiration from John Williams' score for Superman.
Oh, yeah, always got that inkling, especially with the go to distance motif.
Specifically Go to Distance, like the melody for Go to Distance was inspired by. And yeah, like it's called Centaur's Force for a reason. The developers decided to get the Disney animators, make us some new Centaurs.
Might as well. Again,
Take into your inner Fantasia and make us some new Centaurs.
Pretty much.
Indeed.
This is also where the power-ups come in handy, because the Centaurs, as you've seen, pack also a punch. So if you can fight them through distance, like with a flaming sword, it's actually more appreciated.
And speak of the devil, there's some hovering flame right there.
The Prometheus left it there.
Yes. Don't worry, he's getting pecked out for that too.
I don't know, Joe. I don't think he has enough liver for that.
It's okay, it'll grow back.
Mythology humor. But again, like I think I mentioned this in the movie commentary. Was like one of the Disney movies that I actually grew up with when I was a kid. For a good reason. Other than dinosaurs, my big hobby back then was also actually mythology. I actually had a book that talked about Greek mythology. Surprisingly enough, for my age, considering the weird shit that happens in them, you really don't want to know the details of some stuff. But again, it was kind of fascinating, the fact that, the Greek culture had essentially, managed to come up with this kind of stuff. And so when this movie came out, of course I wanted to see it, and this was basically one of the first games that I actually got for the PS1. It was pretty cool. Again, before FF7 showed up in my house, I was mostly relying on Disney games, but they were not really that bad, honestly. I still had a good time. It's just that FF7 was really the game changer, that kind of way.
Well, when you go from tie-in games to, full-on games, that is quite a glow-up.
I forgot if I did mention it on FF7 commentary, but I almost actually did not get it, and instead I was supposed to get the Disney's dinosaur tie-in video game. Basically, my schoolmate was like, if you can, you will give me to borrow Colin McRae 2.0, which I had back then. I did not absolutely no interest in playing it, and I can give you dinosaurs, which I really don't care about. Then in the last second was like, no, I can give you Final Fantasy VII because I could not progress. Remember, Jova, he was stuck at the 100-gunner heli gunner boss for some reason, and that's how it happened. It was
wow.
Cool.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Disney's dinosaur video game, but
I haven't played it yet for this very reason. So there's that.
I mean, I like that game, but Final Fantasy VII, that's quite a
interesting trade-off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, keep in mind, considering the age, we did not knew what the actual value of the games we were trading in. It was
just,
for the moment.
You remind me back in the day when I was a kid. We used to trade games all the time.
And besides, like I said, in that case I was like the kid because I never gave him back. To be fair, I never got back Colin McRae 2.0, but I still think the guy lost something in the process.
Reminds me of a time when I traded Spiral Orange the Cortex Conspiracy for Metroid Zero Mission.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, it was a good trade-off for me.
Okay.
Also, there you go. When you see those centaurs in the background, that means that they can throw rocks at you, so be careful and do not indulge too much on the area.
And they also asked the animators to draw chimeras for this level as well. So that's nice.
They look pretty cool as well. Yeah. They also have fast attacks, so again, watch out. Dweebs, I actually haven't seen it. In case, is there a Game in the Clintoneers episode about this?
I think so.
Goody, I might check it out after the part's over.
It was. I'll check it. If I can find one, I'll link it to you.
Goody.
I can only imagine what George Wood can tell about this game. To be fair, there is a password system, so you can potentially cheat.
Well, he has made two, like most of his ones. He's done 2 videos on Hercules the movie and 2 videos on Hercules the game, as in they're both the same video.
Oh man!
Which one do you want? Do you want the 1 minute 55?
Just link all of them, and I'll decide.
I'll link you the 155 one since 1 second, and I'll give you the movie one as well.
This is probably the one that also is a bit one of the ones that really showcases what I'm trying to say about I really don't particularly care for the maze-like structure of the way they create the foreground background thingy in here, because I genuinely believe I would have preferred if the levels were just straightforward 2D levels rather than just have these maze-like layouts where you just keep alternating between foreground and background.
Everyone's got a preference.
Can you imagine if this was on the 32X? Sorry, not the 32X. My bad. I fucked up with defective console, the Virtual Boy.
Well,
That would have no.
Well, to Virtual Boy Wireland's credit, it actually does make decent use of that kind of thing, because usually when you go into the background, it's a very straightforward, easy to understand thing. And here's the boss battle, the actual centaur from the movie. How do you defeat it? Well, you have to jump on it and ride it like you would ride like a bull in a bull ride.
Like how he does in the movie.
Pretty much, that is pretty cool.
The only issue is that the hit detection can be a bit off.
Actually, no, you have to wait until it times for an attack and does this in order to do that. Because you have to stand on the platform, allow it to attack a couple of times. You can recognize by the fact that the platform is shaking. Then wait until it, there you go, it dodges again, and then jump on it.
That's the thing too. Like, it took me a while to figure this out.
Sure.
It's mostly because
Also,
there you go. See,
the composer decides to get wild with this.
there you go. There you go. So there you go. See, you're supposed to enter. Sorry, you're supposed to land like in the center part of his body. The problem is that, like, it's mostly the animation that confuses me, because like the actual animation for him riding the centaur is on top of his head, so it kind of messes with my instance, So it's just a bit, and I was a bit too far. You have to try to enter. You have to really try to land on the center part of his body. Basically, it's a.
Also, that stock sound effect, horse, hey.
Well, it's the best one we could afford, Teo. Sorry. Yeah, Meg is just like in the movie. Meg is just sitting there enjoying herself watching this. Clearly.
Why not?
There you go.
She knows what she's doing.
Oh, she does.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. There you go.
Come on.
I'm actually pretty damn sure that same stock sound effect was used in the Barbie game you mentioned earlier.
Yes.
And now you charge punch.
hear
In the
it.
movie.
There you go. The actual. And now we have the actual animation from the movie. There you go.
That's pretty neat. But yeah, Shiro, you're correct. It's also present in there.
I can't unhear it, but
The problem is that the sound mixing in that game is horrible.
Yeah,
it is. It's
basically,
It's it is horrible.
Wait, did you play that too, Joba?
Hercules, for all you know, the dirty waterfall water could have gotten in that bottle of yours. So anyway, that's the end of part 1 of rules.
Rules.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh no.
See you for the Great Olive.
See ya.
See ya.
See ya.